Now I'm getting a little grayer. We need it from you, the young people, because remember this. You got to get out there. You got to give it everything you got, whether it's your time, your talent, your prayers, or your treasures. What are you going to do with what you have? I'm not talking about how much you have. Some of you are business majors. Some of you are theologians, nurses, sociologists. Some of you have money. Some of you have patience. Some of you have kindness. Some of you have love. Some of you have the gift of long suffering. Whatever it is, whatever your gift is, what are you going to do with what you have? All right, now here's my last point about failure. Sometimes it's the best way to figure out where you're going. Your life will never be a straight path. I began at Fordham University as a pre-med student. I took a course called cardiac morphogenesis. I couldn't read it, I couldn't say it, I sure couldn't pass it. So then I decided to go into pre-law, then journalism. And with no academic focus, my grades took off in their own direction. I was a 1.8 GPA, and the university very politely suggested that it might be better to take some time off. I was 20 years old, I was at my lowest point. And then one day, and I remember the exact day, March 27th, 1975, I was helping my mother in her beauty shop. My mother owned a beauty shop up in Mount Vernon. And there was this older woman who was considered one of the elders in the town. And I didn't know her personally, but I was looking in the mirror. And every time I looked at the mirror, I could see her behind me, and she was staring at me. She just kept looking at me. Every time I looked at her, she kept giving me these strange looks. So she finally took the dryer off her head and she said something I'll never forget. She said, "Young boy, I have a prophecy, a spiritual prophecy." She said, "You are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people." And in the years that followed, just as that woman prophesied, I have traveled the world and I have spoken to millions of people through my movies. Millions who up till this day couldn't see me. Who up till this day I couldn't see while I was talking to them, and they couldn't see me. They could only see the movie. They couldn't see the real me. But I see you today, and I'm encouraged by what I see, and I'm strengthened by what I see. Because taking risk is not just about going for a job. It's also about knowing what you know and what you don't know. It's about being open to people and to ideas. The chance.
Let's go. Let's go. Good morning, familia. Rise and shine. Another blessed and grateful day coming towards the end of the week, 11:05, Thursday. Super excited for today's topic. Today's topic is going to be make a change for 2022. And it's wild. Denzel was talking about that piece right there. Before we go ahead and dive into the day, I've experienced something very similar, right? So let's go ahead and drop our gratitude down for the day before I go ahead and dive into this story. What are you guys grateful for coming into Thursday? Grateful to be alive, grateful to be healthy, grateful for God, grateful for each of you, grateful for the mentorship, grateful for the breakthroughs and the break frees, grateful to be able to go ahead and take advantage, believe it or not, of the times we are living in. They say you might get 1 to 5 opportunities in your life that can substantially not just change your generation, but the generations to come. And I believe we're living in that time right now. So beyond blessed and grateful to be able to take advantage of what it is that we are about to go through. So let's go ahead and get into today. But piggybacking back off what Denzel said, being able to see the signs, right? Casey, opportunity relationships, I love it. Being able to see the signs and pay attention. I've realized over the course of my life, I didn't understand it exactly when it was happening, but being able to go look back, we can connect the dots, just like Steve Jobs says, right? We can't connect the dots looking forward, but we can look back and connect them looking backwards to see how they are aligned to get us to where it is that we're at right now. So I'll never forget it. I'll give you guys a quick story before we dive in today, because we're talking about change, right? Things in your life, even signs to be able to see that's going to allow you a confirmation. I'll never forget it. It was about my first year inside of the business, right back in 2017, 2018. And we went out to an event. We actually drove all the way from Florida to Texas to go to an event. Mind you, one of the individuals that I was with, he had drove all the way from Michigan to Florida, pretty much, dropped everything to go all in on this business and really take it to the next level. And I'll never forget it, right? We drove literally from Florida. This was just one event, from Florida to Texas, with a $1 bill right on his steering wheel. And he wrote 6 zeros around it, right? For $1 million, just to visualize and manifest on the way over there, going there, on our last dollar. So couple different things that we learned, right? I was at a restaurant with him and a couple of our mentors, and we get out and we're walking back to the hotel, and there's this bum that's sitting, right on the side of the road on the way back. And everybody walks by, and I don't know what it was, but there was something that pulled me back, to see what it is that he had to say. Because he's like, hey, can you help me out? Most people, they would just walk by, but I was curious. I just felt an energy. So, me and that individual, Kaz, we actually went back and had, heard what he had to say. And it was interesting because he wasn't asking for money. He wasn't asking for anything. He said, do you mind if you sit down for 2 minutes? I actually want to show you something. So I don't know what it was. I don't know what the energy there was, but something compelled me to see what is that he had. So I'll never forget it. He opens up this book, right? It's just a normal composition book, and every page has literally an intricate drawing of the city, right? Literally exactly to the buildings, to the doors, to the windows, to the pointed rooftops, and it was almost like a spitting image. So it turns out he was actually autistic. So if you know individuals that are autistic, they have certain skill sets that to everybody is different, but to some, they can specialize in them and really do incredible things. So for him, he was an artist. He liked to draw. And it was wild. I'll never forget it. He turns to one of his pages, and he actually he pulled it up and he flipped it over to me, and he showed it to me, and he said, look in the clouds. What do you see? What do you see? Right? And I'll never forget it. He had a 1 billion written inside of the clouds. So, and he said, I want you to pay attention. This message is not for anybody else, but it's for you. I truly see your energy. I truly see your soul being able to impact 1 billion lives and then some, right? Your energy, it ripples off to others and you don't even know it. You're inspiring lives that you don't even know. I can see you walking on stage and speaking in front of those that you can't even fathom seeing you. Mind you, this guy has ripped clothes. His jeans are ripped in half. He has no shoes on. And I ended up asking him, what did you do? Turns out this used to be a very successful individual, right? He was rich multiple times, lost it all, made it back, and he actually ended up losing his wife, and he went into complete depression. And he never had the energy to go back and chase his dreams, but it turns out he was an artist. So he's still living on the streets, doing what he does, and he gets paid for it, right? He hands out his drawings, but he's getting paid to do what he loves. So even somebody that might be living on the streets, isn't that funny how they can be happier than a billionaire? So the lesson was, for me, that was a sign that I needed to change. I need to really believe what's inside of me. I need to understand how much value I can really bring to the table. So today, when we're talking about change, it's all going to be about change the way you see things. The way you see things are going to change, right? You might look at a problem now. After this call, you're going to look at that same problem. You're not going to look at it the same. So today, learn that everything that we do is intentional. And everything that we look at it, just by changing the perspective that we see it, we can see it from a whole different light. So let's go ahead and get into today how to make a change for 2022 and how to go ahead and look at things in your life that happen differently. So first things first, most people, right? I would say 97% of the world, 95%, most people are resistant to change. It is what it is. It's one of the things in life that is a constant, but it's one of the scariest things as well. So most individuals, they desire improvement, but they resist changing their everyday routine, right? How many people want a better body? January 1st hits, they go hit the gym for 2 weeks, and then 2 months later, it's a ghost town. Nobody else is in there. So everybody, they desire the improvement, but they resist changing the everyday routine, okay? So the problem being is most people, we cannot become what we need by remaining what we are. Meaning, same thing we talk about all the time. What got us here is not going to get us there. So change needs to happen. So the way change happens, as I go through these bullets, a lot of the times is just by changing your perspective in order to pursue change. So you ready? I've got about 6 bullet points for you. Okay. So here's what to look for and how to focus your energy to get the kinds of changes that will change you. And not just you, but once you change yourself, you're going to change the people that's around you, the people that they're associated with, I'm going to give you guys a nugget. You ready? If you don't think you're valuable, I want you to understand this. If you've ever had a positive effect on anybody's life and they've had a ripple effect on anybody else's life, guess what? You not only just touched them, you touched countless people that they've actually interacted with just because of your energy. So start to realize that you have a lot more value. Your voice is much more known than you actually think when you start to put it out there, okay? So 6 things. Number 1, don't change just enough to get away from your problems. Change just enough to solve them. You see, a lot of us, we see a problem in our life, and it's so easy to run away with distractions. In fact, I've been there many times, right? Even in college, when I was living out of my car, the first thing I wanted to do was go ahead and just run away, go back to the party life, go back to doing what most people were doing. But you know what I had to realize? Instead of me running from the problem, I needed to figure out a way that I can actually solve it. Because here's the truth. Problems is kind of like clutter. It's like trash in your life. The more that you don't handle it, the more that you don't take care of it, guess what happens? You're going to have a buildup. It's going to start to it's going to look like a room that doesn't get clean. You know, you got to step over everything just to get to your bed, and everything is disorganized. You can't find anything, even if you wanted to. Well, that's what happens in life. Every time that you keep ignoring problems, they're going to build on each other, and you're going to build what's called personal debt of problems, to where you go and attack them, and you might feel like you did so many things, and you still have so much left to do because you kept letting it compile on each other. So I want you to think about what are the issues in your life, and how can you go ahead and, instead of run away from them, solve them. I'll give you an example. When I was homeless, living out of my car, had no job, I got an email that came in saying I had to pay $33,000 in debt from school. I could have either ran away from that problem, or I could figure out how to solve it. So you know what I did? I decided I need a different level of thinking. I need a different level of influence. I need to get around a different type of energy. So I started to change. I started to change what I was listening to. Instead of listening to music, I found audios. Instead of just scrolling on social media, I was literally sitting in my car and I was scrolling through books. I was reading. I was learning. Okay. So this is where change began. And as far as the people I was associating with, I had to get around a different type of influence and knowledge, because the truth is we only know what we know. So if all I knew was really how to be an employee, how could I go out and have a life of time freedom? It's impossible. It can't happen. That's why they say information changes situations. So if you feel like you have a problem, if you feel like you're quote unquote stuck, here's the truth. A mentor has most likely probably already been through that scenario. They've already been broke. They've already struggled. They didn't know how to handle money. But what did they do? They got around a different network, a different type of energy to go ahead and learn and elevate. That's why they say you could spend a lifetime learning from your own mistakes, or you could spend a lunch learning from a mentor's mistakes. I would take the lunch all day long than have to go through all these mistakes by ourselves. Okay. Number 2, don't change your circumstances to improve your life. Change yourself to improve your circumstances. Okay. So this was the same type of idea, right? When I was living out of my car, I could go and think about, all right, how can I really change my circumstances? But the truth was I needed to change myself first. I don't know if you guys realize the times that we're living in, but believe it or not, you can build a brand right from the screen right here, right from your laptop, right from your phone. Anywhere that has Wi-Fi, you can start not only personally undeveloping yourself, but you can actually start to give value, build a brand, and impact lives right there from your social media, from your phone. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to take charge of my life and make the necessary changes to do what I need to do. So, you know, that's literally what happened. I was studying trading inside of my car. I was personally developing myself inside of my car. I was reading books. I was listening to audios. And this is where it all began, because the changes in your life, they don't happen immediately, right? Just like when you plant a seed, it doesn't come up the next day. Law of gestation. Same thing with success. Same thing with your life. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it starts with improving yourself before you think about improving your circumstances, right? Huge nuggets that I had to learn. Number 3, don't do the same old things expecting different results. Get different results by doing something new, right? This comes back to the fly in the window story, the fly that kept trying to get outside, but he kept hitting the same window. And the second fly comes in, and he goes right around the corner, and there was a wide open door for him to go ahead and go out. So the same thing happens with life. The same thing happens with business, with trading, with branding, with building your network. You've got to figure out what is working, what's not working, what can I double down on, and what do I need to cut out. This is why every Sunday we do an evaluation, because we want to go ahead and figure out what can we double down on, what is working, and if it's not working, now you know where to focus your energy on. So now you can be more productive going into the week, to the month, and honestly through the year. So getting into number 4, don't wait to see the light to change. Start changing as soon as you feel the heat. This is a good one. Don't wait until you see the light to change. Start changing as soon as you feel the heat. So the problem with most people is, here's what happens in life. They wait until there's something drastic that happens in order to really go out and do something different. When somebody is very sickly, when somebody's struggling, when they end up losing their job. That's why they say there's 2 different types of people. Somebody that's hungry and somebody that's starving. If you're starving, you need to make something happen. But if you're hungry, you can go a couple of days without eating. That's how a lot of people are. You're getting enough to eat to sustain yourself, but you're not getting enough to thrive, to be powerful, to really have strength. So that's the difference. Is don't wait until you start feeling the heat to make a change in your life. Don't wait until you get to you're pretty much homeless, 30K in debt, to realize like, okay, I need to figure it out now. I need to make a change. That was me. I literally waited till I was 6 months left to get out of college to finally make the decision that, okay, time is ticking. I literally I had a clock. I had 6 months, literally an exact day where I had to start paying back my portion of my 33K loans. So I didn't have a choice. It was either that or I kept driving myself in more and more debt. So that was my trigger for me. That's why they say people change for 2 reasons, right? Inspiration or desperation. Well, I was both. I was inspired by others winning like my mentors, and I was also desperate to change because I had to change. Okay? So don't wait to feel the heat to make the change. I'm telling you that right now. Don't wait till someone gets sickly and you have to make the money to go ahead and be able to help them, to get them into a nursing home or take care of them. I promise you, learn from me. You don't want to wait until your life gets pressed. Okay? Put the pressure on yourself before life puts the pressure on you. If there's anything you take away from today's call, it's my biggest nugget for you. Okay? Where are we at? Number 5, don't see change as something hurtful that must be done. See it as something helpful that can be done. Let's say that one again. That's big. Pay attention to the wording. Don't see change as something hurtful that must be done. See it as something helpful that can be done. Instead of asking yourself, why do I have to make this change? Why do I have to do something different? Start asking yourself a different type of question. Who do I become when I make this change? Who do I become when I start eating better? When I start getting around a different level of influence? When I start getting up earlier? When I start journaling? When I start writing my gratitude on a daily basis? When I start reading my goals at least twice a day? Who do you become when you actually do that? Who do you become when I ask you on the spot, can you show me a goal card? What type of energy do you have? What type of frequency do you carry when you have that type of intention with what you have on you, with what you're doing on a daily basis, with how much self-love and how much self-care you have for yourself? What type of changes are made in your life? Who are the people that you impact? Who are the people that are sending you daily gratitude messages? Thank you for being alive, for being able to go after something that most people were afraid of. You see how powerful questions are? Stop asking yourself the wrong questions. Start asking yourself the right questions and watch where life can take you. And I get it. I've been on both sides. I've asked myself, what if? Why is life happening to me? Why do I have all these problems? Why is God giving me all of this on my plate? But you know what I realized? You'll never get more than you can handle. Never. You're breathing right now, right? You all could tell me these horrendous stories that you've been through in your life, every one of you. But you know what's interesting? You're still breathing. You're still on this call. So guess what? If you have breath, you can still make change. If you have breath, you can still make an impact. If you have breath, you can still leave a legacy and leave a long-lasting change, not just for yourself, but for the generations to come. And number 6, don't avoid paying the immediate price of change. If you do, you will pay the ultimate price of never improving. I'll go over that one more time. Don't avoid paying the immediate price of change. If you do, you will pay the ultimate price of never improving. Okay? I'm not gonna lie to you. Everybody knows this. If you haven't been to the gym in a long time and you say, okay, I'm ready to start today, I'm ready to go at it, I'm ready to get my body back, it's probably gonna be difficult. Why? Because you don't have a routine in check, you don't have a meal plan in check, you don't have the right mindset, maybe the right motivation to even get yourself into the car and get over there yet. But here's what I do know. Okay. Success is like building a snowball, right? At the beginning, yes, it's going to take time. You've got to scoop it one by one to get the ball formed. You got to compact it, you got to put it together. But once you put it on the ground and you get rolling it, right? And then you find a hill, now it starts to build. Now it starts to really compound and grow until, well, that's what happens with life. You see, once you go to the gym for 30 days, 60 days, it's going to be automatic. It's going to be like the back of your hand. It's going to be normal for you to get up, drink alcohol, and eat fruit. It's going to be normal for you to just go out and hit the gym in the morning before everybody gets up. Whatever your routine is, it's going to become your new normal. That's the issue with life. Your normal right now is being lazy, getting up late, not hopping on sessions, not calling your mentor. I've been in all of these different scenarios. So if you can analyze and think about where you're at right now, what changes do you want to make, but better yet, who do you become when you make these changes? What type of impact do you leave? How many gratitude messages are coming through your phone on a daily basis because you made that decision to go out and become the best version of yourself? So to go ahead and end it off like this was a quote that came from an individual named Joanne von Schiller, and here's what she said. She said, "He who has done or her his best for their lifetime has lived for all times. You can do your best only if you are continually seeking to embrace positive change." So embrace the change, embrace anything that is a challenge, embrace anything that's an obstacle in your life, because it is there to teach you a lesson, to get you to grow, to get you to the next level. So family, if you've got any value from today, go ahead and smash that like button, drop a 7 down below. If nobody told you today, I believe in you. You are powerful. You are great. And I can see the change. And here's what I know. When you do make that change, what type of impact are you leaving? What type of legacy are you going to have on the earth? I can tell you it is going to be nothing short of legendary. So family, it's your favorite entrepreneur, Define Dreams. You can be, do, or have anything that you can hold in your mind. You can hold it right here in your hand. I love you, family. June, we're jumping to new levels. Let's grow.